Jesus went to Jerusalem and stood by the pool of Bethesda. Many people were at the pool who were blind, lame, or paralyzed. Jesus noticed a man who could not walk. He had been lying there for a long time. Jesus asked him, "Do you want to get well?" The man answered, "Sir, I have no one to put me in the pool when the water is stirred up. Someone else always gets in before me." The man thought if he could get into the water, he would be healed. Jesus told him, "Get up, pick up your mat, and walk." Right away, the man was miraculously healed.
Wow.
He picked up his mat and started to walk. This happened on the Sabbath, so the Jews told the man who was healed, "It is against the law to pick up your mat on the Sabbath." The man replied, "The man who healed me told me to pick up my mat and walk." "Who was this man?" the Jews asked. But the man who was healed did not know who had healed him. By this time, Jesus had slipped away into the crowd. Later, Jesus found the healed man in the temple. Jesus said to him, "See, you are healed. Do not sin anymore, so that something worse doesn't happen to you." Then the man went to the Jews and told them that Jesus had healed him. So the Jews began persecuting Jesus because he was healing people on the Sabbath. Jesus told the Jews, "My Father is still working, and I am working too." Now the Jews wanted even more to kill Jesus because he wasn't just breaking their rules about the Sabbath. He was saying that God is his Father, making himself equal to God. Jesus is God's Son, and he always did what God said was right. The man at the pool was unable to help himself. Jesus healed him, and he obeyed Jesus' commands. In a similar way, we are unable to free ourselves from sin. Jesus calls us to trust in him. When we trust in Jesus, he frees us from the power of sin and death so we can follow him and obey him.
Hey there, I'm Pastor Brian, and it's time for Questions from Kids. Lucy from Wichita, Kansas asks,
why does God allow people to have disabilities?
Lucy, that is a fantastic question. You know, it's one that is really important to me because I have a daughter with a disability. She has a limb difference. And so this is a question that my family has wrestled with for some time, and so I'm glad you asked it. Well, here's the big idea, that people are born with disabilities in part because we live in a broken world. Sin has infected every part of this world, and that includes that at times people are born with disabilities, like my daughter who only has one leg and not two. And so that's the real reason in a nutshell. But let me unpack that for a minute more because I think this is really important. And this is something that we have really worked hard to communicate to my daughter and others. And it's this, that there are no accidents for God. That my daughter was knit together in the womb the way that God wanted her to be, and other people with disabilities are knit together the way God wanted them to be. Now, it's hard for us to understand this, but again, we remember everything God does is for his glory and our good. And so God has a purpose in disabilities. He's got a purpose in doing this. You know, we saw that in the story today with the man who was lame, that God used him to draw other people to himself. And so we see that God can use even disabilities, things that are really difficult. And we wouldn't want somebody to be born with a disability, but God can use even those difficult things in our lives to draw other people to him, to help us understand how good he is and how loving he is. And here's the wonderful thing, that Christ came to make everything wrong right again one day. And here's our hope. My hope is that one day my daughter will run in heaven with two legs when God has made everything right again. And so everybody who has a disability has that to look forward to, that God will make right all wrongs through Jesus Christ. So here's a question back for you. How can you show love to people of all abilities?